New poll from the Wall Street Journal finds President Biden in a dead heat with former President Trump in a possible rematch, with both candidates polling at 46%. President Biden was in Philadelphia today speaking with union workers where he previewed his re-election pitch.
Well, we're getting through this one of the greatest job creation periods in American history. For real, that's a fact. The guy who held this job before me was just one of 2 presidents in history. He was one of, but here's an important point, one of 2 presidents who left office with fewer jobs in America than when he got elected office.
All right, we can talk about the strength of the economy and whether Bidenomics is a real thing. By the numbers, Mick and I were just talking about this before the show, it appears that the economy is not in that bad shape. People aren't buying it. We'll get to that a little bit later. But is it disingenuous, Kerry, for President Biden, given the fact that the pandemic happened and jobs fell off the table and recovered as a natural consequence, for him to say that criticism of President Trump for losing all those jobs?
Oh, absolutely. And people know it's disingenuous. That's why the approval rating for the president is so low, and especially on the economy. You have more than half of people who have reported to CNBC that they are dipping into their savings to pay for staples like food and rent. That's shocking. That's why so many people disapprove of what's happening. You have the possible strike with the auto workers. That's because of the electric vehicle mandates by Joe Biden that is going to kill the economy.
All right, we're going to get to that later, Mick.
Who is he talking to? Who is he going to move with that message?
Yeah.
Either people are going to vote for him and they like him, or they don't like Donald Trump, they're going to vote against him. There's nobody out there going, you know what, I was iffy on Donald Trump, but, you know, since he didn't create that many jobs, which is not right, by the way, but, you know, now I'm going to be for Biden. That doesn't, I'm not
but the other half of this, and you know as well as I, or better than I, that is motivating Democrats, right? To give them something to go to the polls for, to open their wallets for.
But they already don't like Donald Trump. That's what I don't understand. Why not just go out and say what a great job you've done? If you beat up on Donald Trump, I don't know how you move the needle.
Okay, here's one other thing that the president is fighting. Hold on, and that is our favorite topic, his age. The president said this, addressing that issue earlier today.
I'll tell you what, someone said, you know, that Biden, he's getting old, man. I tell you what. Well, guess what? Guess what? You know, the only thing that comes with age is a little bit of wisdom. I've been doing this longer than anybody, and guess what? I'm going to continue to do it with your help.
Okay. Hey, you guys, the Democrats. What do you think? Is that a winner?
Discrimination.
Yeah.
It's age
discrimination. About Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
No,
you were the D.C. Democratic Party chairman.
That's right, I was.
When he was much younger.
Yeah, absolutely. Much thinner, too. But my views haven't changed. And let me tell you, when I say age discrimination or ageism with Biden, there are 2 things going on with his numbers. One, I don't believe the 46-46 poll.
Really?
I really don't. I can't believe that America compares Biden to Trump, who's facing 91 felony counts. I just don't believe it. But more importantly, with regard to Biden, the things he's done legislatively, bipartisanship, right? There's a gap between what he's done and what America is feeling. And I think if you look at the economic numbers that have come out slowly but surely, inflation is coming down, employment is slightly going up on like this curve is what the economists want to see. Yeah. And I got to believe that by 2024, it's going to continue to get better with these policies, and America is going to begin to feel it. Because if they don't feel it, and you're given the choice between Biden and Trump, whether he's in jail or not, that might be a toss-up. I don't know.
Sorry, Joe, I'm going to cop to remembering when Ronald Reagan made the age joke when he was running against Mondale. So he's not going to hold Mondale's age against him because he was so young. Yes. So Biden appears to be trying to make a light of the fact that people believe, and a significant number of Americans do believe, if you judge the polls, that he is too old for the job.
You just can't walk away from your age. So he's doing the only thing he can do, which is talk about it. That said, I think all of us probably agree that America is ready for a next generation leader. If the Republicans don't give the option of a next generation leader, then it sets up this contest where it's Biden versus Trump. And if you look at the economic desperation that people are feeling, that real feeling that there is rich men north of Richmond, if you have Biden sticking with unions when Teamsters is negotiating, and we're going to get to this, $170,000 a year, there are going to be more people who are actually for that. And if he explained what Bidenomics was, he might have a shot because, again, there's a lot of old men.
All right, we're going to get back to Biden.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.